war simmering between Pakistan and Afghanistan. And make no mistake, Islamabad or Rawalpindi lit the match. For years, Pakistan played the double game, feeding terror across the border, sheltering the Taliban, and thinking it could control the chaos. Now that chaos has come home. The fires Pakistan once exported are burning right through its own frontier. The Taliban, once Pakistan's prized proxy, has turned its guns on its old master. Border posts fall, air bases burn, and trade crossings close. Afghanistan, under the Taliban, is fighting not America this time, but Pakistan itself. The monster Islamabad nurtured for strategic depth is now devouring it from the edges. As Pakistan generals roar retaliation, the world asks, how did Pakistan lose control of its own creation? And more importantly, what does this mean for India? Hello and welcome. You're watching Statecraft with me, Geeta Mohan. In October 2025, Pakistan launched airstrikes deep into Afghanistan, claiming to target the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan or TTP, a militant outfit sheltering across the border. But the strikes didn't just kill militants, they hit Afghan soil, igniting one of the fiercest border wars in decades. The Taliban responded with artillery and drone assaults on Pakistani posts. Hundreds were killed, border crossings sealed, and diplomacy buried under smoke. As Islamabad blames Kabul for harboring terrorists and Kabul accuses Pakistan of violating sovereignty, one thing is clear: the house Pakistan built is collapsing. And amid the ruins, India quietly watches. Should it worry or celebrate? The 2025 Pakistan-Afghanistan clashes aren't just border skirmishes, they're poetic justice. For 40 years, Pakistan's establishment built an empire of militants, jihadists, and terrorists for strategic depth. Today, that empire has exploded at its doorstep. The trigger came early October. An ambush by the TTP in Pakistan's Kurram district left 11 soldiers dead. Enraged, Islamabad bombed Afghanistan provinces Kabul, Khost, Jalalabad, Paktika, claiming to target TTP chief Noor Wali Mahsood. But Mahsood survived, and Afghanistan's Taliban hit back harder than anyone in Rawalpindi expected. For a country that once fancied itself the Taliban's benefactor, this was humiliation. Loud, fiery, and self-inflicted. Let's be blunt. Pakistan created the conditions for this chaos. Since the 1970s, its military intelligence complex, the infamous ISI, weaponized Islamism in Afghanistan to serve its own agenda. During the Soviet War, Pakistan trained, armed, and sheltered thousands of Mujahideen fighters. After 1989, those networks mutated into the Taliban. By the 1990s, Islamabad openly backed Mullah Omar's regime, dreaming of an Afghanistan that would give Pakistan strategic depth against India. But you can't control a storm you started. The Taliban grew hardened and learned to survive without Pakistan. When the US withdrew in the year 2021 and the Taliban returned to power, Islamabad celebrated, prematurely of course. It expected gratitude, obedience, and open borders for trade routes. What it got instead was defiance. The Taliban refused to recognize the Durand Line, sheltered the TTP, and demanded Pakistan stop interfering.
जिस मट्टी में से उनको फायदा मिल रहा है, जिस मुल्क से, जिस सरजमीन से उनको फायदा मिल रहा है, उस मुल्क के साथ दुश्मनी कर रहे हैं। सर, ये अब बर्दाश्त नहीं होगा। हमें यकसू होके मिनहसुल कौम जो है जवाब देना पड़ेगा इन लोगों को जो उनको पनाहगाह मुयस्सर करते हैं, चाहे वो हमारी सरजमीन पे हैं या वो अफगानिस्तान की सरजमीन के ऊपर है। इसमें किसी को कोई शक नहीं होना चाहिए। अगर किसी गांव से या किसी पनाहगाह से 4 या 5 या 10 या 15 आदमी निकल के हमारे किसी फौजी काफिले के ऊपर जो है हमला करते हैं, उसका जवाब जो है हो सकता है सबको सब साथ कोलैटरल डैमेज भी हो, उसको सबको सब भुगतना पड़ेगा। जहां पे उनकी पनाहगाहें होंगी उनको भी भुगतना पड़ेगा और जो लोग उनको पनाह देते हैं उनको भी भुगतना पड़ेगा। इनफ इज इनफ। ये अब जो हमारे सब्र का पैमाना जो है पाकिस्तान की हुकूमत का, पाकिस्तान की अफवाज का जो है लबरेज हो चुका है। हम अपनी अफवाज के साथ इस मसले पे खड़े हैं।
By 2025, that resentment exploded into war. And at home, Pakistan was leaderless, or worse, led by generals alone. Imran Khan, once Prime Minister, now sits in jail, silenced, humiliated, and replaced by the military puppets. Khan had once tried a dialogue-based approach with both the Afghan Taliban and the TTP. It wasn't perfect, but it reduced violence for a while. Then came his ouster, and with it, the army's monopoly on foreign policy. From his prison cell, Khan called for peace talks with Kabul. He warned that you cannot control this region with brawn, but nobody listened. Field Marshal Asim Munir, the powerful army chief, preferred fighter jets over diplomacy. The result? Pakistan ended up fighting the very Taliban it once sheltered, while the TTP launched fresh attacks inside Pakistan. Khan's voice, one of restraint, was replaced by the echo of missiles. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Army Chief Munir have proven a disastrous duo. Sharif talks peace while Munir drops bombs, a policy that convinces neither ally nor enemy. Islamabad accuses the Afghan Taliban of harboring the TTP, yet refuses to admit its own decades of double-dealing. Munir's military mindset sees every border dispute as a nail that only Pakistan's hammer can fix. But the Taliban have sent a clear message. Afghanistan is no longer Pakistan's backyard. When Islamabad sealed the Torkham and Chaman crossings, Kabul didn't blink. It hit back harder. Pakistan's internal collapse has worsened everything. Amid a free-falling economy and soaring inflation, Islamabad found a new scapegoat: Afghan refugees. Nearly 4 million of them are being deported in waves, branded as security threats. The Taliban call the expulsions inhumane, accusing Pakistan of collective punishment. But the deportations weren't just policy, they were propaganda. They were meant to distract from Pakistan's economic rot and political chaos. While citizens face record inflation, electricity cuts, and unemployment, the regime blames foreign elements. And now, that narrative has come full circle. The Taliban, once Pakistan's foreign asset, has become its nightmare. In typical fashion, Pakistan's rulers have tried to mask their border failures by amplifying anti-Israel rhetoric. From fiery speeches to symbolic condemnations, Islamabad's leaders shout about Gaza to distract from their disaster in Kurram. But the irony is painful. While they posture against Israel, their western border burns. Pakistani leaders cry about Muslim unity abroad, but bomb Muslim villages in Afghanistan. Their hypocrisy is laid bare for all to see. Moral outrage abroad, military mayhem at home. This anti-Israel grandstanding is not diplomacy, it's diversion. It's the old playbook: change the subject, stir religious emotions, and hope nobody notices the fire next door. When Afghan Taliban fighters stormed Pakistani border posts in October 2025, it was more than just revenge. It was rebellion. They captured Pakistani positions, hoisted their flags, and paraded prisoners on social media. For decades, Pakistan dictated terms to Kabul. Now Kabul is dictating terms back. The Taliban's military maturity, their drone warfare, and their discipline shocked Pakistan's commanders. The student has become the teacher, and the teacher has no answer. As the Taliban government announced a pause in operations from New Delhi, yes, New Delhi, it sent a deeper signal. Afghanistan is no longer under Pakistan's thumb. For India, this conflict is both a caution and an opportunity because Pakistan's implosion opens space for New Delhi's quiet diplomacy. India has already begun cautiously re-engaging the Taliban, inviting Afghan officials to New Delhi. It's not about friendship, it's about strategy. By maintaining dialogue, India gains influence in a region Pakistan long tried to monopolize. While Pakistan accuses India of provoking the Taliban through diplomacy, the truth is simpler. Afghanistan is asserting sovereignty and India is simply listening. The core of the 2025 crisis lies in Pakistan's pathological obsession with control over Afghanistan, over Kashmir that they try very hard, or over its own people. It believes coercion equals power, but coercion has produced only enemies. Pakistan wanted the Taliban as a puppet. It got a rival. It wanted strategic depth. It got strategic disaster. It wanted security. It created the TTP. Every Pakistani general's nightmare is coming true. A two-front instability. India to the east, Afghanistan to the west, and chaos within. And as Imran Khan sits in jail, the army that jailed him now grapples with a crisis it can neither contain nor comprehend. The message from Kabul is loud and brutal. You cannot control Afghanistan with brawn.
दूर दराज इलाके है, वहाँ पे कुछ अटैक हुआ है, हम उसकी मजम्मत करता है और हम पाकिस्तान हुकूमत का ये काम एक बड़ा गलती समझता है और इससे मसाइल हल नहीं हो सकता है। अफगानिस्तान का तारीख गवाह है कि ऐसे मसाइल ज़ोर से हल नहीं किया सकता है। उसको ज़्यादा छेड़ना अगर लोग करता है तो वो एक बार अंग्रेज से पूछे, फिर सोवियत यूनियन से पूछे, फिर अमेरिका से पूछे, फिर नाटो से पूछे, ताकि वो आपको थोड़ा सा समझाए कि भाई अफगानिस्तान के साथ ऐसा खेल करना ये अच्छा नहीं है।
Airstrikes may destroy villages, but not resolve history. The Taliban, born of decades of war, will not bow to Pakistan's commands. The Durand Line, that colonial scar drawn in 1893, remains unresolved, and no number of F-16 sorties will fix it. Let's settle this question once and for all. The responsibility for this bloodshed lies squarely with Pakistan. It was Pakistan that armed and nurtured the Taliban during the 1990s. It was Pakistan that provided safe havens for jihadists for decades. It was Pakistan indeed that used religion as a geopolitical weapon. And it was Pakistan that bombed Afghanistan in 2025, igniting a war it cannot control. The Afghan Taliban are not innocent. They harbor militants and impose brutal rule, but they are reacting to a structure Pakistan built. The TTP exists because Pakistan blurred the line between good and bad militants, between good and bad Taliban. So when Islamabad now demands that the Taliban change their organization, it sounds absurd. The Taliban are Pakistan's own reflection, born of the same ideology, hardened by the same guns. New Delhi's engagement with Kabul, measured, pragmatic, and patient, positions India as a stabilizing force in a region consumed by Pakistan's self-inflicted chaos. Today, Pakistan faces a reality check it can't ignore. Its western border is in flames. Its economy is in free fall. Its policies are in paralysis, and its society is restless. The border clashes with Afghanistan are not just a military confrontation, they're a mirror showing Pakistan what decades of manipulation and militarization have done to its identity.
Afghanistan have suffered enough over the last 5 decades, ever since the invasion of Afghanistan by the Soviet Union and the interfighting among different factions in Afghanistan. So again, to flare up a tension between Pakistan and Afghanistan is not in the favor of any part of any countries, the stakeholder in the region, including India, South Asian region. So it's not a time for a war. And that was the Prime Minister of India have said it. It's not an era of wars. And I think Pakistan has to understand that solving a problem with Afghanistan, it's of their own interest first, at the first place. And secondly, Afghanistan needs stability, needs aids, needs help in the infrastructure to rebuild the nation, which have been ruined by the wars and by the invasion of the United States.
It's fighting enemies it once trained. It's bombing allies it once funded. It's deporting refugees it once welcomed. It's silencing leaders it once elected. Pakistan wanted to play empire builder in the region. Instead, It's become the cautionary tale of South Asia. In the end, the 2025 Pakistan-Afghanistan border war is not just about the Durand Line. It's about the death of an illusion. The illusion that Pakistan could control Afghanistan. The illusion that force ensures friendship. The illusion that religion could replace reason. From Imran Khan's prison cell to Field Marshal Munir's war rooms, Pakistan is discovering that its biggest enemy was never across the border. It was in its own policies. As India watches from the sidelines, it doesn't need to intervene. Time itself is punishing Pakistan. The strategic depth it sought in Afghanistan has become a strategic abyss. And as the smoke clears over Kurram and Chaman, one truth remains. You can't bomb your way to peace, especially when the fire began in your own backyard. Thank you for watching Statecraft.